We are having Shama Sawant on the program on Wednesday to talk about the UPS strike, amongst a couple other topics, but that's going to be one of the main ones because Workers Strike Back is urging the rank and file Teamsters to vote no on the tentative agreement to try and get even more than they've already gotten. However, the concessions that management has already made to labor are really, really sticking in the craw of Patrick Bet-David, who on his show went on this rant about how great it is to be a UPS preloader and a UPS driver. Now, this is a big finance guy. I don't know what the fuck how he made all his money, but this guy's worth tens and tens of millions of dollars. And now here he is really jealous of the UPS drivers and the UPS workers.
Average pay for a full-time employee.
Just so you guys know, this is sped up about 20% for time's sake.
Okay. What do you think is the average pay for a full-time employee now at UPS? Don't say anything, Tom. What do you think? UPS.
Hey, Vinny, what could Brown do for you? Give me the answer.
$55,000.
Okay, full-time, right?
Full-time.
Okay.
I'm assuming most people want to kill them.
Not minimum wage. Average.
Average. The key word is average salary for a full-time employee.
You said 55? Well, I'm a huge fan of The Price is Right. I'm going 55-1.
55.
Okay. Well, first of all, you win. That was not a hard bet to do, but I'm going to tell you what it is.
Yes.
Okay. It's... Oh my God! I can't believe this is it.
Way higher.
Okay, what is the minimum wage right now, federal in America? What's
like
the minimum wage?
$7 or something.
$7.20. Okay.
Yeah.
Some states want to take you to 15. Okay. Right. All right. So full time, it's $49 an hour.
That's $100 grand a year,
guys.
That's $100 grand a year.
That's exactly what it is. The average full-time employee now at UPS gets paid six-figure salary.
What?
Okay, pause it. First of all, that's clearly not even what it says. It says the average top rate is $49 an hour, meaning that is the maximum wage that you work yourself up to.
It's not the average rate. Yes.
It's not the average rate of a UPS worker. The average pay rate of a UPS worker is actually represented in the following graphic right here. Top earners, 102.5.
All right, so the average is 62
grand. Right, the average is 62.
The 25th percentile, so that's the lowest starting out people, right?
Right.
39.5. Okay.
Exactly. So there's the actual breakdown. So no, the average Joe at UPS does not make six figures. That is the average top rate, meaning the maximum salary. And the reason it's average is because you do get a lot of overtime when you work for UPS, right? You get a lot of overtime, especially during the busy seasons and things like that. So sometimes you make more than $100,000 a year driving a truck for 70 hours a week, lugging 50-pound boxes nonstop, for all those hours. Sometimes you actually get to, buy a house when you do that. Imagine driving a truck and owning a house. Imagine that. God,
get about the business of dying and cut down on the surplus population.
Exactly. So here he goes on.
What am I doing?
I'm going to read this to you.
I quit after. Go. I'm leaving.
But hang on, you got to
all the haters in the chat that want me to leave. Bye.
Listen, CNBC, UPS, Teamsters.
We can make twice that doing an idiotic podcast. So, what are you going somewhere for? Yeah, I think you got it pretty good. In that air-conditioned studio. I think these guys would last a combined 10 hours on a UPS truck. That's just my guess.
If that.
Yeah, if that.
It would be like the time I ran away and joined the circus. That's hard work, man. Unless you're out there doing the clown shit, like if you're a roustabout on a circus, that's not a joke, man. I almost lost my fingers the first fucking day, man. They were putting down the trailer hitch. It was coming down on my fucking fingers, man.
Yeah.
There's no safety coordinator out there when you're working on the circus. Like it's, you got to pound those tent spikes in.
Yeah. No, hard work. Absolutely brutal.
It is.
Reach labor deal to avoid strike. Okay, yeah. UPS and Teamster Union reach a preliminary deal, $30 billion, covering 340,000 employees to avoid a strike. Existing part-time employees received a raise to at least $21 an hour part-time.
Part-time, $21 an hour part-time. You show up at 1 o'clock in the
dare they.
morning to a freezing cold warehouse to lug shit onto a truck nonstop with 1 10-minute break in the middle of the night. They want $21 an hour for that. Can you believe that? Like, how much lower should they get paid for that? Like, if you're Patrick, but like, what do you think? You want people to do that for $12 an hour, 13, 14?
Well, they do.
Yeah.
They do. They do.
When I was there, it was $14.50. That was our base.
Well, this is a throwback. I kept thinking of Atlas Shrugged when I was listening to this conversation. This is a mentality that entrepreneurs should use every tactic at their disposal to get the best price for the goods they bring to market. But labor, if they apply the same power to get the best price possible for their input, they're thieves.
Right, exactly, right.
Right? I mean, even if you accept the premise, which I think is kind of woven into the whole mindset of this conversation, well, then why shouldn't labor be able to force the best price that they can get? That's capitalism, right? I thought you believe in capitalism.
No, there's right, exactly. Right. That's all that is. Business. That's business.
Right. Shouldn't they be able to negotiate the best price?
Business
That's just
is all
business.
about. Right.
That's business. Why is it an assault on why is it an assault on
when guys in three-piece
the body
suits in
politic?
Midtown Manhattan negotiate from their BlackBerry or whatever, that's business. Right. When the working class negotiates, it's class warfare. That's how
class
they paint
warfare, exactly.
You know?
It's what you're really seeing here, and we'll see it again, very similar mindset with Kramer. We have set back American society largely to the Gilded Age. That was why we had unions. We dismantled the unions, and we've recreated the conditions that led to unions, that led to sit-down strikes. We've gone so far back that they have forgotten the whole idea of living in a world where working class people can afford a decent living. That's the whole fucking point. That's the whole point.
Right, exactly.
All of your conservative pay-ons to a bygone America that was better. That's why it was better, jerk off. It was better because assholes like you weren't in charge. Right. The workers, through much effort, not over days, months, years, decades, had won a decent life for working class people. What you're describing, that somebody at the top in UPS is earning $100,000 a year, that's how it was before Reagan. Working class occupations were pretty good.
That's why you can support a family on a single income.
That's
on
it.
one income.
That's it. So on the one hand, fucking conservative weasels like this will talk about how they want to bring back that America, but they'll only talk culture war. They'll only focus on what the culture was like. The reason things were so much better for Americans then was because the kinds of policies reflected in the contract that the UPS workers are fighting for was commonplace. That was a typical working class labor arrangement. And you know where that money's going to have to come out of? The fucking executives and the CEOs who have funneled. It's not that the money's not there. It's not that these companies are going to collapse if you give this to these workers. Yeah, someone's going to have to pay management.
Right, of course. Of course.
Part-time is getting paid $21 an hour, while full-time employees were average $49 an hour. Current workers get an additional $275 raise an hour per year and an additional $750 hour over 5-year contract, which means if you've been over 5 years, the contract over 5 years, you're getting paid $57 an hour is what you're getting paid. The deal
that's not what that means. That's not what that means. You work your way up to the 49 at the top. They're saying you lock in $750 an hour over 5 years, which is not great. They should get more than that. That's why there's some organizing going on to try and get a no vote. But even the concession, even this first agreement is too left wing for his taste.
You're getting paid $57 an hour is what you're getting paid. The deal includes ending mandatory overtime for drivers' days off and needs worker ratification. In contrast, FedEx pilots rejected a tentative labor deal with 57% voting against it.
Pat, I'm sorry that I'm on my phone because I'm just getting texts from Deli and everybody in production. They all just walked out and they're all going to UPS. Everybody just quit.
Yeah. So what is the most shocking thing about this? You thought the number would be way lower. You thought that they don't deserve this amount. What is it that shocked you?
I mean, you were shocked. You
I was,
said 55,000. So what were you shocked about?
Yeah, I'm shocked by the number. Yes. I
Well,
don't know.
how much would they have to pay you, Vinny, to wear the brown shorts
it's
and drive
exactly-
a truck with no door and a flimsy seatbelt?
It's exactly two
200
times.
grand?
Guys.
Can we have a serious
I'm
conversation?
sorry.
It's exactly 2 times what you guessed. Okay.
Yeah.
You said 55. It's $101,000. Okay, give or take.
That's average. Does that factor in CEO? Is that factor
No,
in?
that's
Okay.
not-
No. That's the Teamsters contract. See, not the brightest either. That's the
This is
drivers and the part-timers. This is what we're talking about. We're talking about Teamsters union. The CEO is not in the Teamsters union. The CEO is for UPS, and then the union manages the employees. That's what a union is. that's the whole point of it, right? So he is just a little bit confused as to what they're talking about. But yeah, as you can see, they're very, very bewildered at the idea that this union is making it so that, or trying to make it so that, people can work at UPS and live without having to go get another job. Like the idea of one person, one job.
How dare they?
Owning a house. Like this is something that we used to call the American dream. And they are just seemingly just flabbergasted, just so shocked that this union is actually trying to make that possible, trying to actually make that a reality. Like, it just shows how far we've fallen. Right?
Yes.
That like this
Right.
is so from outer space. What do you mean? You work part-time and you get $20 an hour? Like what? It's unheard of. To these guys.
You're not constantly living in a state of fear and stress, worrying about how you're going to eat, how you're going to pay your rent. You're not constantly living under threat of eviction. Oh, that's horrible. That's
And the thing
terrible.
these guys
How
don't
dare
get
they?
is, for $21 an hour, a lot of these workers are still living with those same anxieties and fears that you talked about, even at 21. But they can't even believe that.
Oh yeah, sure. But they don't even really think the full-time workers
Right.
should be living in a decent way.
Right.
That's what this reflects. When you talk about so clearly they think $50,000 would be like fair pay, right? That's what they guess. That's what they think would be fair pay. How can you live and raise a family on that in America today? That's not a lot of money. $50,000 is not a lot of
Nothing.
money.
It's nothing. It's nothing.
Especially
given
you want to
the
get back
workload.
that these conservatives, they're supposedly they have these fucking family values. Well, how do you expect people to have families under those circumstances?
Right. A lot of UPS drivers don't have families. The divorce rate amongst UPS drivers is through the roof because of all the hours they work. It's not
Right.
conducive to a family life. So they sacrifice a lot, including their health. A lot of UPS workers who drive these trucks all day, a lot of them can't make it to the point where they reach that $49 mark. Their body gives out. It's extremely
Right.
demanding physical work. All right,
Right.
we're almost done.
And when you got all that repetitive stress on your body, yeah, we talked about this the last time this came up. Your body's not meant to do that stuff. Your body's not meant to just repetitively do these kinds of motions and lift boxes. Forget about the Amazon workers. That is the fucking people who conceive that should go to jail. They should go to jail and have to run Amazon boxes in jail all day.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Full-time employees,
Just
it's $49 an hour.
That's great.
That's insane for this to take place. Okay, so now
It's
you say
insane
that's
for
great.
this to take
Guess what it
place.
means? Okay, yes, it's great. By the way, we can make that $490 an hour.
This
What does it
gets
cost
dumber.
to ship something?
Yes.
Okay, that's
you're
where the
right.
money comes
Okay,
from.
this is where it gets really just insanely dumb. So he says, okay, so now they're getting $49 an hour. Let's say we raise it 10 times that. Let's say we give them $490 an hour. Look at the math he does now.
Is going to have to pay more.
You are paying the raise. They're not paying the raise. You're paying the raise. So to us,
So he's saying the customer is paying the raise.
Yeah,
You're going to have to
right,
pay the raise because
right.
they're going to have to raise prices as a
Well,
proportion to the wage
and-
increase.
Right. And cutting executive pay, it never even crosses his fucking mind. It never
No,
even occurs
no.
to him.
CEO of UPS made $19 million last year. That's actually down from $26 million the year prior. But even discounting executive pay, look at the ludicrous math he does here.
if the consumer, like, what does it cost right now, Rob? Go and see what it costs to ship a regular item. Just go prices
I mean,
at
this is
UPS
like
to
literally
ship anything. Okay,
seventh
prices
grader
at UPS to
with
ship anything. Let's just see what it comes up. Okay, zoom in.
economics this way.
All right, so zoom in if you. Okay, right there. So check this out. 1 pound is $8.44. Okay, 2 to 4 business days. 2 pounds, $9.96. Okay, guess what? Now, what if they say, well, we want it to go to $490 an hour? We can make that happen. We just got to make it $88 a pound.
No. Okay, so what he's saying there is if we multiply wages by 10, we have to multiply prices by 10, which is, of course, absolutely ludicrous, right? There are states that have raised the minimum wage to such drastic amounts that effectively like doubled the McDonald's workers' salary.
Right.
Did the price of a Big Mac double? No. Are they going to raise the prices 10 times if you do a 10 times wage increase? No. Why? The most basic thing in the world. You have way more customers than employees. And so you do not have to raise prices at the same rate that you would raise wages. UPS has 340,000 workers. Those workers work, an average of about 40 hours a week, right? Because the part-timers work a little less, the drivers work a bit more. Right. So you have 340,000 workers working 2,000 hours a year. So that's 680 million labor hours, right? You have 680 million labor hours. So in order to before you even think of, cutting CEO pay, right? In order for the price increase to match that, you'd have to match the exact number of parcels shipped, right? For every labor hour, there's a package shipped. Right. Well, guess how many parcels UPS services in 1 year? 25 billion. 25 billion parcels a year. Only 680 million labor hours. That's why price increases do not happen at the same mathematical rate as wage increases. So no, even if you assume you don't cut executive pay or CEO pay or anything like that, just leave the executives out of it for a moment. The math is just so juvenile. It's just so ludicrous. It's amazing.
Well, this is, we have some people say, why do you attack people on the left? I've said this from the beginning. I have contempt for a lot of people on the left. People like this are beneath contempt. That's why I don't bring it up a lot. It's so fucking stupid. It's like, why would I even talk about it?
And, this guy should really stick to trolling Anthony Weiner. He's the same guy who trolled Anthony Weiner. He was good at that.
He was good at that.
Good at that. Yeah. This not so much. I mean, anybody who gets an economic perspective from this, it's just so ludicrous.
Well, and it's very typical of the kind of thing that people got fed. He's got his little podcast going on. It's like a Fox News segment. This is why you have so many people who would benefit from left economics who will be walking around talking anti-union shit. Or they did. I think this act has gotten old as people have seen their towns collapse around them, right? But there was, 10 years ago, you'd have all these working class people. Yeah, what do you want to join a union for? Because that was what they heard on the Fox News, right?
Right.
It's this line.
All right, here comes the cherry on top in just a moment.
So this idea of, day one, hey, consumer, you lost.
Yep.
Okay, because it's coming to you. And Tom,
it's coming to you, right? They're gonna raise. I mean, just
very interesting point as well. For some of you guys that purchase Amazon, what's going to happen with Amazon, Tom?
What do we think is going to happen to Amazon Prime when the renewal comes to your credit card?
Okay, this is hilarious. So Patrick Bet David just said, well, if you raise wages by 10 times, they're going to have to raise the price 10 times. So now he's saying, what's going to happen at Amazon now that the Amazon workers are starting to get a little more?
Tom has a very interesting point as well.
And this winds up being a big cell phone, too.
Huge cell phone, right.
Some of you guys that purchase Amazon, what's going to happen with Amazon, Tom?
What do we think is going to happen to Amazon Prime when the renewal comes to your credit card? I bet it's going to be up $6, $8, $10. It's got.
Oh, okay.
Oh, really?
I thought it was going to triple. I thought it was going to be 4 times the amount.
So you can give a living wage to hundreds of thousands of people in exchange for raising Amazon Prime a few dollars.
A year, a few dollars a year, by $6 a year. It's going to cost the consumer another $10 a year. Yeah.
You can afford Amazon Prime. Right? You can afford Amazon Prime. So chances are, if you have Amazon Prime, the extra $6 to $8 a year is not make or breaking your household finances, right?
No, it's not going to affect whether you spring for Amazon Prime. Just like an extra 10 cents for a Big Mac, which they might have to charge in order to pay the workers more, is not going to make or break someone's decision to buy a Big Mac. So this guy just gets done saying, well, now it's going to cost $80 to ship a box. Hey, what's going to happen on Amazon? Yeah, they'll raise prices by $8 a year. It's just like insanity. I forgot about that. The real cherry on top is coming after.
Of course. How can it not?
They have to collect that money from somewhere.
It's coming from
Yeah,
some.
they have to collect the money from somewhere. They'll charge the customer $6 a year extra. Yeah.
Somewhere.
Now, the difference is
Maybe Bezos will go at a loss next year
but
for the consumer.
But the difference is Bezos has fought tooth and nails to avoid union as much as he can because he knows what's going to happen here. I did a poll the other day, Rob. Can you pull up Twitter and go to my Twitter account and you'll see the part where I polled union. Is union a net positive to society or a net negative to society? I think around 18,000 people voted, and here's what the results were. It should be the next one. Zoom in right there. Yeah,
18,000 people who respect your opinion voted. And guess what? Amongst people who respect your opinions, 68% have a net negative view, which is actually low considering how dumb your show is. I'm surprised 95% of your listeners are not anti-union.
Most people who have watched me offer these kinds of opinions who didn't decide to start watching something else are anti-union.
Are anti-union.
Shocker.
Most people who like me are anti-union. Yeah, that's quite the scientific survey you did there.
Sean
Amazing.
Hannity did a poll on unions. Had a very similar outcome. Shocker.
Donald Trump did a poll. Is immigration a net positive or net negative? It turned out 80% said it was a net negative.
Which lines up right with the opinions of the American people. Because his base is a melting pot that's right in the center of American opinion.
Please clap.